Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richheimer. We are so fortunate to have Charlie Harary with us today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
An honor. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I just want to we dive in real quick in the Ladies Talk Show. First question is, what is one thing that you feel is, if women knew this one thing about their husbands or about marriage or about shalom bayis, if they knew this one thing, it would shift their thinking to have a better marriage?
I'll say two things. One, I won't explain, and one I will. The one I won't explain is that men are more simple than you think. I really think that. I think women are much more complex. They're much more emotionally complex, socially complex, and for good or for bad. Like, really, I think that there's parts of it that's, there may be, I'm not saying there is, but there may be a potential for more, maybe insecurity, but there's also a tremendous capacity for love, for understanding. It's incredible just how complex, or let me say more complex, women are than men. Many times women will do something that she'll have no negative intention, but a guy will take it so because she's more complex. Like, it's simple on the surface, it may be offensive, but it's not really offensive if you put it together, and he just won't even get there. Or on the flip side, a guy will do something that is on the surface like totally fine, but it triggers an insecurity, or it's an omission of something that triggers an insecurity that he is totally unaware of. Many guys have much less social relationships than women do. So many men don't understand the complexities of a woman's relationship, which then is its own world that she can bring to the relationship, right? So whatever happens around a woman, sometimes a guy doesn't have a corollary to, so he doesn't understand the dynamics that she goes through often. So the first thing to remember is, that doesn't mean he's less smart. It doesn't mean he's less capable. I mean, the guy could dice up a sugya like there's no one's tomorrow, or analytical, or he has every quality. I'm not knocking a guy. Guys are amazing. I'm a total guys guy. I'm saying, like, I'm totally on the guys team, but like, understand that when it comes to relationship, many times the frustration of women is that she's assuming that she's talking to a male version of herself. And really, and by the way, guys have the same problem. So it's just, this is not a guy show. But really, and this is the hardest thing. It's personal, it's interpersonal relationships 101. But when you're married, the avoda is not to be heard, right? The avoda is to hear. And we're very quick to make sure we're heard, because we're so worried that our side won't be taken care of. Now, once you decide, and I'm not saying I own this, I'm terrible at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a regular nobody. Like, don't learn anything from me. I'm just sharing advice that I heard from people better than me.
Okay.
But like, many times marriages will go many, many years, and it's like a game of, am I taking care of? And it'll never end. It'll never end, because in order to have a successful marriage, you have to hear somebody else's perspective. You just don't have it. And you think you do because you live in the same house, you have the same hashkaf, whatever. But like, you think that, and it's both sides. Both sides think the other one is the gender specific version of the other. Like, they just think that, like, nobody gets that, like, they're entirely different creations, which is why I shouldn't put them together. Because mostly for midos, right? Chaim Vital speaks about this mostly for men, that the man's midos is judged by his wife more than anyone. If not, I think almost to the exclusion of everybody, which makes sense, because like, when you're in a situation of someone so close, it's so much more sensitive. If you're married to someone that's a good person, like if you've got past the first threshold of like normal, good, healthy, worth being in the marriage, the more you're trying to understand them, the better your marriage will be. Like, and this is on both sides, but the more your avoda is, what are they thinking when they said that? And then connecting dots, because if you're with them for many years, you can actually see the galgalgo. You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't they get me that gift? Or why did they? Well, how come they forgot me? How come they do this? How come this happens? You know, our relationship to multiple levels of a relationship, which we don't have to go into, is like all the things that are the activities of a husband and a wife. If you're using your husband or your wife as a like, hey, why did that happen? What's in their head? They're a good person. You're gonna have a very different marriage, and not, how come I'm not being heard? And similar questions? And the answer is you're not being heard because you're both speaking languages that only you speak, and they're just two different languages.
So the homework assignment on that is to speak less and listen more.
Yeah, and listen with a very specific thing. I mean, in the business world, we call this act. I'm sure the psychology would call it active listening, right? This is a big deal, where you're not listening so that you can understand. You're listening so that you could understand the person. It's a very different listening, right? I need to understand why you didn't do this. Is different than I need to understand how you think that led you to not do this.
Interesting.
Another level.
Right.
That's the level of where you get inside somebody else, understand how they think, and marriages get there eventually because they've been at it for so long. You know, I think one of the sweetest parts about marriage is when you see older couples that like they answer for each other. Usually she answers for him, but whatever, they answer for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they know he's not gonna want this, he's not gonna eat that, he's not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Right.
doesn't, and like they know, or like he'll never go for that, or she'll never do that. That's not for my wife. Like I think that's especially as they get older, it gets, like I think when you look at an older couple that's been around forever without any therapy, or like they're just regular older people, like
Right.
and like they know so much about each other because they see the world from each other's perspective. It's what it's about. So when it comes to self, it gets harder, right? When it comes to like what food do you want at a chasana, it could get easier, right? But when it comes to like how you made me feel about my thing, it could be much more sensitive. So once you get there's an avoda in marriage called figuring another person out, and once you can unlock that, it's a different game that you're trying to play, and you never get the end of it, right? Because people are very complex, and people have neshamas, and neshamas are infinite, and it's not like you can just nail somebody.
Mhm.
But that's an avoda that if you and the best time to do it, by the way, is not in the fight or in the tension. The best time to do that is in a positive, is when someone does something that's good for you, and you take the feeling further. Like for example, let's assume I don't know you have a husband who doesn't remember dates on the calendar so well. Let's use a stereotypical example, right? And a wife that does. So he gets it and he learns and he shows up at the birthday or the anniversary and he nails it, right? So she's happy. Okay, why is she happy for? Because she takes this seriously and now she feels valued. So the flowers, the birthday card, the cake makes her feel valued. Great.
The jewelry. Come on, Rabbit. Come
The
on.
jewelry, right? The jewelry, right? Exactly.
Hello.
The house is the vacation, right? Right.
Great, yeah, okay.
Right? So that's level one. That's like me. I feel good. You made me feel good. Wonderful. So that's great. But if you want to take it to the next level, you say, okay, I feel good. Now let me get myself in my husband's head because I know the guy and he doesn't know anything, which means he probably had to remind himself. Now, he loves me. See, I reminded him. Why did he forget in the first place? Maybe he just doesn't value this as much. And so it's not on his head, or maybe he's got this going on. And the more she just thinks about how much it took for him to do the thing that was an 8 from A, it'll be a 10. But more importantly, in a high moment, in a positive, she'll learn more about her husband and his ability to remember things. Latova. So if he forgets one time in the future, she will already have done half of the research as to why he forgets things sometimes, right? And
Mhm.
when you use positive moments to learn more about the other, it makes the moment more special. But most importantly, it makes your understanding more subtle. Right? You want very fine, like like when you want something fine. Like they say that wisdom is found in distinctions, right? The ability to know the difference between like this snow and that snow, right? Like this cough and that cough, right? Right. That's why Havdalah is in Chon and Hadas, because Havdalah distinctions is in the world of Das, because that's the hardest thing is to know how to be Mavdil. Who's good for me and who's not? What's Kodesh and what's Chol? How much eating, even though it's mutter, we're now in the area of Shovavim, and the Biam Derkecha speaks about how, Kadesh Atzmecha b'mashem mutalacha. What does that mean? It means that there's some imagine it's all kosher. There's some eating that's kodesh, and there's some eating that's tame, and it's still kosher, right? It's just inappropriate. But how do you tell the difference? So the easy answer is a little bit. I'm full. Thank you, Hashem. Brachas pre and post. And I ate like an animal and I'm sick. Okay, but what about here? The extra chicken, the extra thing. When do you cross the line between I'm eating because I'm an Hashem B'Shvuguf or I'm eating because I'm a behema? That ability to know exactly what that line is, that's the highest level. That's called being a chacham, right? Distinctions. My husband, offensive, insecure, forgetful. Once you learn about him in a way that is more and more and more fine, you're living a different marriage.
Hmm. So the whole avoda is focusing in on not what he's doing for you, but who he is.
Yeah.
What's
Which is
going
why
on with him?
which is why you're here.
What's driving him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why
Wow.
you're in this world, right? And you
Yeah.
can see even from a spiritual perspective, right? Like that's why you're here. You both are here for the development of the other. So develop them.
Well, let's go. All right. We got so many questions coming in. Okay, Gila, go quick, quick, quick.
Okay, great. So Tali's asking, I'm going through something hard and I know I should be focusing on the good, but it's so much easier said than done. Do you have practical tips for how to actually keep focusing on the good in my life, even though I'm in pain?
Yeah. Always focus on good when it's good. That's the problem. This is normal stuff. This is like, being prepared for war or being prepared for anything. Like whenever someone goes through something, Amuna, this is a good one, right? If you do Amuna every day, you're practicing Amuna. If God forbid you hit a challenge, God forbid, you'll fly through it. But if you're in the challenge going like, Amuna, I can't, of course you can. Your emotions override you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to build your brain to a place in the positive so that you can deal with the challenge. So let me give you a really good example. Okay. You're eating kosher, right? Positive. And you're in the world and you're eating kosher and you're constantly eating kosher and your culture supports that. So your brain is habituating around kosher food, right?
With you.
Your friend doesn't eat kosher or he just started eating kosher. Okay. 2 months ago, he got inspired. He said, you know what? I'm giving up non-kosher. The both of you on a business trip, right? There's no food in the hotel. There's nothing 10 miles. I mean, you can't get anywhere, right? He goes downstairs and now they're sitting and there's a restaurant there, right? Are you freaking out? Most people are not freaking out. Like you just go to bed hungry. You just drink. No one's going, oh, that cheeseburger. Ah.
Right, right, right.
Why? It's a challenge. You're starving. There's no food. Why aren't you even like thinking about it? That guy's going out of his mind because you've built habits over the course of years that when you hit the challenge, it's not even a challenge, right?
Yeah.
You have to, when you hear something, and again, I don't do this. Don't learn from me. I'm just saying it. When you hear something, if you want it, you do it now. You don't put it in the back of your head and then wait for it to come up. It doesn't work. If you hear something that says, I think if I decide that I want my marriage to be deeper, I'm going to start thinking about what my husband is or what my wife is now, because there's going to be a challenge, hopefully not, but there may be a challenge coming down the pike. And I don't want to get caught. Like I don't have zero food in my fridge. You have to put something in the fridge in case something like it doesn't work like that. Your ability to live on the edge, unless you're living with full immunity, then you have to worry about anything because Hashem will totally take care of you. But if your ability to live on the edge when it comes to things that are important to you, yeah, the challenge comes, it's impossible. But if you hear anything that can help you and you immediately ask yourself, what can I do every single day to make it habituated into my brain? Then whenever that challenge hits, you'll be better, right? That's how it works.
Very
Even
good.
post-challenge, it works like that. You had a bad situation, you come out of it, usually it's just like, I'm upset, you're upset, versus like, what do I got to do to never get back there again? That's the difference, by the way. People that have a lot of things and are they're not like born different. And there are people that have bigger neshamas than others, but most people are they just prepare, right? They just take this seriously.
So you're saying develop habits put you in the best possible situation. So when the challenge comes,
Yeah.
you're prepared.
Yeah. And
Very,
this is an allusion to this in Tefillah. It says, V'yadata hayom v'hashevosa el vavecha. Right? The Sanzer Rebbe once said that the longest bridge in the world, the distance of bridges, the longest bridge in the world is the bridge between your head and your heart. Right? We can know a million things, but can you do them? Well, that's only with habits. Dr. Dave Pelkowitz, once I heard speak, he got up and he said, "You can't imagine how many psychologists come to me for help." He's like, they're brilliant and they give the best advice, but like when it comes to their families, they're broken. I'm like, wait, you just spoke about this, just and they're like, no, and because saying something and knowing something is very very different than conditioning it into your heart. That's habits, day in, day out, day in, day out. That's a kevas echad l'seva. That's why I believe you daven every day, 3 times a day, every day, every day, every day. Why? Because Hashem would wait for the one time that you need him to daven, you would never daven, right? Judaism is a religion of habits, Shabbos, days, months, Rosh Chodesh, Yontif. Just look at the religion. It's built by the most brilliant source in the world. Why? Because Hashem is trying to habituate us so that it's instinctive. Right? He wants us to be, souls. And you're not going to get there if you have to always remember everything. You have to live it, and you live it through habits.
Okay, so Tova's asking, we're at a crossroads between whether we should have more kids or not. I'm leaning towards having more kids, and my husband is hesitant because of financials. What should I do?
Find a holy man and ask him. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I can never. I don't know people that have built families on finances. Let's say that way. As I don't know where I saw this once, that every baby brings its own bracha, right? Like I don't think if you're going to do anything in ruchnius based on the financial backing, you're probably not going to do it, because it makes no sense to have kids. Most people can't afford the kids they have when they have them when they're younger, if they're younger, and forget kids. Like who can afford Shabbos and tuition and taking off the entire September and half of April and like saying no to your boss when he wants to? Half of what we do for a living makes no financial sense. Like our nation makes no financial sense, and yet thank God Hashem knows how to hook us up with money. Like I don't think finances. Now, if you're emotionally speak to a Rav. Like I'm not a Rav. I don't know the situation, but I'm not posing on your personal family situation. But if finances are holding you back, usually finances are, last I checked, in Hashem's hands, and very difficult to put finances in front of things that should take place that you believe. It's just not the way Klal Yisrael has ever lived, I don't think.
Right. So her problem is that she is ready and willing. It's her husband. So part of the question is, how does she, manipulate her? How does she get her husband to on page with that?
A lot of times guys are worried about their wives. A lot of times guys make money, and part of their thinking is my wife going to be happy? Is my wife going to be able to handle it? There's a lot of that goes on in a guy's mind. A lot of the money that men make, believe it or not, even though they pretend not, is for their wives, is so that she's okay, so that she feels that she's taken care of. So if the husband feels that the wife can't handle it for a bunch of reasons, he's not going to say that to her. He's going to say to her, no, we don't have the money, it's too hard. If the husband feels that the wife has totally got this, and that whatever extra money this would cost, it will not in any way impact her happiness and chesed chaim, and I would be shocked if he wouldn't adjust a little bit his thinking. Remember, men will not tell women things. Like, men are not dumb. Like, they're not dumb. There's a few buttons you do not push with your wife, and she'll push you on them, and you don't give in ever if you get your head straight. No, you don't really want to know. Don't say no.
What are you talking about? I'm very curious.
Yeah. One of those buttons is her capacity to run, if she's running the household, to run the household. A man will never, I hope, really comment in a negative way if he knows what's good for him. So if a wife says, I want more, and he doesn't have money, it could be his way of saying, like, are you okay? Can you handle it? That's a possibility. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm like reaching for straws here, but the more she's got it and the more she wants it, men are really, really, they want their wives to be happy. They really do. And it's in the core of a man to want the approval, the respect, and the love of his wife. Really, really, even if they pretend. Some guys are tougher than others. Some guys are softies, some guys are tough guys. Across the board, for the most part, men want their wives to feel that they did good by marrying them. Men do not want to let their wives down. And a wife is really good at getting ideas to make the guy think it's the guy's idea. She's like expert at that. And somehow it ends up being his idea. So if she really wants this baby and she can push for it, I'm sure she'll get it.
And also, if she shows her competence, like if she's
Yeah.
complaining every day, he comes home and she's like, "I can't handle it. I can't do it." What's he going to
Yeah.
do? Was if she starts saying, "I got this. It was a challenging day, but I got this."
For sure. And
Yeah.
sometimes, I don't know all women, sometimes some women may share their day as a way to feel validated, especially if a man doesn't value some of what they're doing because maybe he's working in something in a way that makes him feel more important. And she needs to feel important too. So sometimes she will say things about her day in order to seek that validation. She's not trying to complain. She just needs the validation. He won't see it like that. The guys don't know this idea of validation. We need it, but we don't know it. Like, we don't get it. We need it. Everyone needs validation, but we don't really like, you don't see God, like you see this, it's like, you go to like a Shabbos table, you'll see like a woman will bring out like a platter of whatever. And like everyone will be like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. I love it. What is it? I gotta get the recipe. This is amazing. I love it. Like, you will literally see in a family, people just gush over a woman's food. You will never see a guy like come off from like the Shech Tzibur and guys will be like, oh my gosh, how'd you choose that song? That's amazing. It never happens. Like, no guy leaves the office and guys like, that was amazing. You killed the presentation. Like, holy, it just doesn't happen. It's just, we live in different planets. We don't get validated that way. It doesn't work. This is one of the ways men and women are very different. Guys don't seek or know how to give. And I'm not saying all guys. I'm just giving you like klal. Like, I don't want to like, your husband's great. I'm just giving you like a klal.
Right.
So sometimes if a woman's seeking validation, he may hear it as complaining. And it's not. It's validation seeking, but he may not get it. Some guys are more sensitive and they do get it. Some guys are less and they don't. But in every circumstance, you have to realize that there's two different languages being spoken. And once she understands the language of a man, which is, I want everything to be okay, it could change how she asks, in my humble opinion.
Oh, I think we have time for another question. Go quick with it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Abigail's asking, I'd like to hear your take on how to increase shalom bayis with my husband. Things are okay, but I know there's more joy to be accessed. I just don't know how to get there.
So the question is why? I mean, it's an interesting question, but we have to understand it a little bit. So let's just shoot in the dark a little bit. So first thing is time, very important. Husbands and wives need time. I'm sure that's been covered many times. How the day gets really, really busy and everyone ends up doing what they're doing, and there's not enough time together. You never can find the time, have the time. You have to find the time clearly, and it doesn't have to be like, let's go out to a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there needs to be time. And if you're not spending alone time ever together, you become just two people working in the same house for the same goals, which is really, really important. The second thing is validation and complimenting. Clearly, that's a very important thing. People are insecure. Like I said earlier, like, guys don't get validated a lot. They don't know to seek it. They don't even think it's really, they don't even think it's coming. Same thing with women. Sometimes if a woman needs to be more validated, the way you get more validated is by you validate. And so a lot of times, if there's something that you want, the way you get it is by projecting it. A lot of times a guy just needs to be directed. He's very, depending on the guy. Some guys are very competitive by nature. Some guys are very type A. They work really hard. Some guys are being bombarded by, you're not enough, right? So between the money you make and the learning you do or don't do, and the tefillas and the this and the that and the organization, every guy's got their own thing. Some guys got, believe it or not, some guys escape more than others. And because there is some kind of lack in their life, and so they use maybe gaming or watching games so there's a lot of stuff going on. The rule, I would think, is, and I know it's not easy, and I know it doesn't always happen, and I know it's not even comfortable, so it's hard to even say it, but like, the rule is, be the change you want to see. And it's easy to underestimate how much attention a guy wants from his wife. and how much love a guy wants from his wife. It doesn't, they don't show it as much, but it's incredible when you know guys. So the ability to sort of project more, send more of that warmth, even though you may feel it's coming your way, I think is a good start.
Hmm. So the take home message for a wife is that she needs to have more clarity, or when you say be the change that you need to, what change? You're saying if you want validation, validate more. If you
Yeah.
want more praise, praise more. If you want more attention or time, give more
Yeah.
attention and time.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's not, a woman wants to go out with her husband or spend time with him, but he's too busy, right? So she just assumes that he's too busy for her, and she's offended. Now, she doesn't want to have to make the date, and she shouldn't have to make the date. And this is a guy's thing. I wouldn't be saying this. Like, I'm saying, if this was a guy's show, like, I wouldn't be like, dude, we'd give it to the guys, right? Like, she doesn't have to, and she shouldn't have to. Okay, you're right. You win. Check. Now what? Like, what prize are you looking for? Misery? Like, okay, you win. So what do you get for the win? Right? So at some point you say, I don't get anything for this. I don't want this. So turning to your husband and saying, hey, I arranged the night. We're gonna go out to a restaurant, or I did this thing for us to spend time together, or I miss you, or something to the level in which she shows the interest and maybe even becomes the guy, for so to speak, in her mind. Okay, not easy, not comfortable, but like, she's doing it, and she's showing him, and she's being the change that she wants. Now she may say, like, that doesn't make any, that's not right. And you know what? You're right. It's not right. So, but Hashem's going to punish him for being a bad husband. What do you get for that? I'm saying, like, what do you want?
Right.
Like, what do you get? So that's what happens sometimes in marriages, by the way. And it's, guys do it all the time. Like I said, if this is a guy show, it would be a very different conversation. But like, it's just the reality of interpersonal relationships. Like, not everybody is aware of the other person's needs, and you need one to step forward. And like, that's the reality. And so it's hard, and it's uncomfortable, and it's not right. But the best part about everything, and the best part of being a Jew, is that Hashem's got the scorecard, and he knows. You never have to do the, you know what? You get to Hashem, Hashem's got it. Trust me. Hashem's got it. Your husband isn't paying attention, and you go out of your comfort zone to make him feel good and feel loved. And as a result, you have a more shalom bayis, and you know that you did his role. You think the Abish is not going to hook you up with something else. You think that there's going to be something else in your life. You do think that woman that was about to give you the comment that was going to ruin your day, that doesn't, or gives you a you think the Kodesh Baruch Hu is a vatran? You think he's going to be like, oh my gosh, no, that doesn't count. Abish, it's your father. You don't think he's shepping up in Shemayim? So we're if we're keeping score, we're in the wrong religion,
Right.
right? There's no score. Hashem's got the score. Like, just don't worry about it. And by the way, I don't think I got it. I'm a human being, but like, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? You see people fighting. It's not worth it. Would you rather be right or rather be happy? Right? That's life. But it's easier said than done.
Hashem, you give us a lot of practical avodas here today. It's fantastic. Do you have the homework that people can do for this week?
I think ultimately the homework is, you have to get to a place in which you are doing one thing every single day in the area that you want to grow. And I have this website called justdo5.org. You should check it out. What we did was we built a website. It's a simple website, and what it does is you pick everything you want to do. So it has to be under 5 minutes, and we send you reminders. And pick it, do it. And so whatever you're working on, you have to realize that if Hashem brought you to some problem, chances are it's some midah that we have to fix. And if you see the world that way, that I have midos, and I'm a human being, and I'm only here for a few years, and hopefully 120, and I have to fix my midos. So Hashem sends me stuff because he wants me to fix myself. If you can get to a place where you can say, okay, I see it. What can I do for 5 minutes every day to get me closer to this? And if you go to the website, I'll send you reminders. Like, it's an automated system. We'll just send you a reminder every day.
We'll put the link below. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, justdo5.org. But it's 5 minutes. but you have to get it into your head. Like you have to, it's an awareness that for 5 minutes a day that's stark, you can actually change your life. Like you can really change your life. So when you take something practical, I'm gonna every day say I love you to my husband. I'm gonna every day do a muna, and whatever it is that you're struggling with. When you come out of a challenge and you feel it, I got to change. When you hear some inspiration, whenever you're in a high moment or a low moment, those moments come because it's an indication that you need to change in your life. And sometimes you get it latova, sometimes you get it not. If you can pause and teach yourself to say, what can I do? What small thing can I do? And then do it 30 days. Tell a friend to keep you real. Do it with a friend. Your whole life will change. Like your whole, I can't even
Exciting.
describe. You'll be a different human
Yeah.
being. You'll have a dozen of these with a dozen friends, and you'll wake up one morning and you'll just be a different version of yourself, and you won't even know where it hit you because you're not gonna like go to a mountaintop and fast for a month, right? You just small little, it's the Kleinigkeit, right? That's what makes all the difference.
Great.
Hachem
Oh,
Ketan.
thank you so much. Wow. Don't you feel like your head's spinning? Like you got so many things you want to do now after hearing from you. Really, really big pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much. This is Leah Richheimer for the Ladies Talk Show. We'll see you next time.